tonight we are going to make the captain of our crew. And as I'm proposing this Unearthed Arcana to you all, in the concept, I want the captain to be an NPC. Right? We made of the 6 roles, in fact, let's click over to it real quick. Of the 6 roles that the Unearthed Arcana lays out, we made 5 as a party of officers. Cook, surgeon, quartermaster, bosun, and first mate. And the reason why I want to leave the captain role as an NPC is because a captain is a dungeon master in his or her own way. Often gives orders, you know, takes you to a location. Now, not that a captain can't go on an adventure. Although I'm sure it'd be kind of discouraged, especially if it's a dangerous one. And look, I mean, how many times has Picard gone on an away mission? Maybe not a directly deadly one, but certainly, you know, he's had to go and be a face. But if the captain is an NPC, or what we could call a DMPC, then it actually allows for a lot more flexibility amongst the other officers. You know, at your table, you may say the first mate has rank above all the others, and even the surgeon might be above the cook. But there's a special psychological place for captain. Now, if your group, if everyone says, yeah, let Sally be the captain. You know, we trust her, she'll make good decisions, that's perfectly fine. I don't want to come from a point of view where you should distrust your players. Though, if you take the spot of captain out of the player's hands, it does provide a little bit more of an impetus for them to follow the captain's orders. Or, if you want to have some fun, and you want to set up a condition where your crew might mutiny, you can do so, right? You can test their mettle. You know, you could play a villainous captain, and that's actually part of the adventure. That maybe your kind-hearted PCs, which we made a good party, good aligned, mostly. I don't say there's an evil, they're almost all good. But that allows for that option where your PCs can judge your captain and maybe even then take over or seek to install a new captain. Follow the big cheese or walk the plank. Yeah, so it does a lot of different things if your captain is an NPC. And I was hinting at this last night, but what I'm proposing here could end up going into running content on the channel. More details to come as I spill them out. But the concept that we've been exploring this week, and we're going to continue to explore next week, I will be giving heavy consideration to incorporating into the channel in the coming year. Perhaps sometime after the first anniversary of the channel. So, there's that too. Okay. So we have our officers, and I want you to have your DMGs open to page 89, creating non-player characters. That's right. I'll be a teacher. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Now, we are also going to do some very broad traditional character making as well. But what I want to do is develop him as an NPC first, and then we'll add in some more details on top of that. The Face of Jericho, welcome. Hello to you. All right, so in Chapter 4, it's not that difficult to create meaningful NPCs. Don't let this process make you think, oh, I gotta get the minutia of every character. I have to detail this, and I did not necessarily. Don't let this process make you panic. As a DM, knowing your NPCs does help. But it's fine to not have all the details. In fact, that's preferable. That will make your NPC mutable, right? Fungible. To be able to adapt to a particular situation. You just got a cat 3 hours ago, but you meant car. You already have a cat. Well, Jericho, congratulations on that. What you rocking, my friend? If you want to talk about it. If not, that's fine. But congrats on that. Merry Christmas to you early, I guess, right? Hey, we see this all the time in the car commercials. Did it have a really big bow on it? Come on. We see it in the... Obviously, this has to happen everywhere. All the time. Where people will gift cars for Christmas and they'll put a big bow on it. Jericho, did your car have a bow? The public demands an answer. Spicy Larry? Hey, Spicy Larry, it's good to see you. It's always good to see you, Spicy. A Volkswagen Passat. But did it have a bow? Come on, man. Spicy, it's great having you here. Welcome. Mateo has been muy buen. Buen? I mispronounced that. Bien. I've been happy. I've been healthy. I'm enjoying the winter festival season, as you called it, just above there, Larry. And we've been having a lot of fun here on the channel. We're making Ship's Crew based on Unearthed Arcana, and it's going to continue from this week into next. As we're gonna, I want to present a roleplay platform to you all based on this. Just a lot of rain. Well, Jericho, I suppose it's okay you didn't get a bow if you have a car. Yeah, you got it right. It should have come with a bow. That's standard. All the car commercials show that. So yeah, Spicy, we've been of the sea and ships. Perhaps fairer weather than what we are having up in the north. We've had a little bit of snow, some cold. Parts of Lake Erie are starting to freeze over. Sure, if it's relevant to your tabletop tale, Jericho. It's been hard being away for so long. Lots of school, lots of work. Well, you know what, though? Your work pays for your school. Your school's going to pay for a really good position that you'll have earned through your study, your networking, and your dedication there, Spicy. You know that you always have a place here, even if you're not currently on the throne up above for Stream Boss. But sir, you've been one of the early adopters of the channel, and you know what? You have good wit and banter. You survived an assassination attempt. You've been through a lot here, man. You're part of the story of this channel, and when you have the chance, I always appreciate it when you pop by. Especially in this time, this winter time of coldness, we need the heat of Spicy Larry. Oh, and Table Talk? Yeah, or if you want, Jericho, if it's of your car, put it in this one right here. It says Your World IRL, and this is where you can share pictures of the world that's around you. Right? And it's not just nature. It could be, it can be, vehicles, your city. It could be, different landmarks and the like. So yeah, go ahead and drop it in here. Dark Wolf, Dark Wolf posted a hornet, whatever. All right, so how to create an NPC? It's not that hard. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm referencing how the DMG is suggesting it. So this is not the only way to do it. Though this is a method that should be available to all of you through the core rulebooks. And especially if you don't think that you're a strong storyteller, maybe you're just starting out, or, hey, maybe you're young, right? And you just don't have a lot of worldly experience. And I don't say that as an offense. Use the template that's up here to help you out. So, name, well, we don't have that just yet. But it's definitely going to be Captain something or another. And the captain is going to have some stats that we'll end up generating. But I want to do that last. I want to get the concept first. And then we'll worry about you know, male, female, which class, background, and all that other stuff. Jericho posted up, hey. Is it diesel? Or is it regular? Still though, sir? Welcome aboard. Regular gas. Oh, and it's a manual. Is this your first manual transmission? Are you having to learn? Occupation and history. Captain of the... and we'll get to this in our next part, but captain of the ship. And we'll fill in some more details when we get them. But we want this character to be pretty straightforward, at least initially. We can add intrigue and mystery and such later. You're learning. I've already stalled twice. Congratulations, because that's how it happens. My first car was a manual, and where I went to school for my undergrad, there's a lot of hills, and a lot of those hills are made with old brick roads, and a lot of these old brick roads have parallel parking on a hill, or they'll have a stoplight at the top of a hill. You see where I'm going with this, Jericho? We can share a special bond where I had to learn manual over the course of a weekend back around where I live, which is a lot flatter, before driving it back down to school and learning how to parallel park on a road on a hill. So, yeah, enjoy that. Oh, and the jackrabbiting. What? But you know what? Pretty soon, Jericho, it's going to be an extension of your body, and you will feel complete control over the machine. It is difficult to describe that kind of a feeling, sir. So, mall parking lots are your friend. And if you do have a couple hills around you, you know, go out at night and practice. Alright, NPC appearance. What is a notable feature about our captain? Let's roll a d20 and find out. We rolled an 8. Missing fingers. Oh. What happened to our captain's fingers? And if you all want to come up with some lore, that's perfectly fine. I don't have a preconceived notion of this captain. Nadpoo, hey! I learned how to drive on a manual, spent the first 6 years of driving in a manual. Now I drive an automatic and still press for the clutch. Hey, Rightel, welcome. There's tricks my dad taught me about using the parking brake in conjunction with the clutch while stopped at a light on a hill. Yep. Volva, you say he lost a ring finger? Why is that? What happened to our captain that he lost his ring finger? He's really bad at five-finger fillet. Oh, is that when, that's when you put your hand down and then you take a dagger and you start going like this, faster and faster between the fingers? Something sailors do often, huh? Well, maybe, hopefully not, but hey, sometimes you're bored and drunk and you want to pass the time and prove something to other drunk friends who don't really care. Perhaps it got pinched in a docking accident, or bitten off by a fish, or a disgruntled ship crew member. So, Nadpoo, are you throwing that out there because no one knows, but he allows for conjecture about any of these things? And that's perfectly fine as well. I mean, we presented, you know, the fact that the captain's missing a finger. Bob Ross was missing part of his finger. And he lost it in a construction accident. So the players, your players, if this is an NPC captain, are going to know he's missing a finger. He might have told each one of them something different, or he just never contends, because in his own way, he takes bets on who who gets it right. And maybe no one ever has. It might be one of those things no one really knows, so rumors occur. Angry wife caught him smelling like perfume and he lost a finger. Ooh. Ooh. I don't wear citrus coriander. He lost it in a bet. So, this is excellent. Only the captain knows what happened, though the crew, including the officers, all seem to hold a different rumor as the truth. Fish bitten off. I guess fish bit it off. Angry wife. 5-finger fillet. Docking accident. Fight with a... We'll just put, like, mutinous crew member. Excellent. I love it. And wouldn't that be cool, right? Over the course of a campaign, as a bit of a reward to your PCs, is to have the captain sit down and perhaps, you know, maybe when times are tough, or, I don't know, the ship is getting thrown around in a storm, there's really nothing anyone can do, or, I don't know, they're lost in a cave and kind of, you know, shipwrecked waiting for help. And the captain just sort of talks about his missing ring finger. All right, his abilities. Now, this is an Unearthed Arcana. The captain issues orders. The best captains have high intelligence and charisma scores, as well as proficiency with water vehicles and the intimidation and persuasion skills. So the captain is getting also probably higher stats, maybe outside of the norm. So if you want your players to play, you know, normally with a standard array and the like, then that is also why you'd have your other officers roll up a character normally, or normally plus what this document gives. Here, we know that our captain is going to have a high charisma and intelligence, regardless of, I don't know, we could roll another barbarian. What we will roll for is what's his low stat. And so I'm going to roll a 4-sided die, and it's going to be strength, dex, con, or wisdom's going to be on a 4. Four, low wisdom. And we can use this as a reference when we go to kind of make a character sheet, or at least a character summary of this captain. Now, for someone who has low wisdom, he seems to be a bit oblivious or absent-minded. So, right, he has a high intelligence. You know, he's studious, he's learned, he's inquisitive, he's persuasive, forceful, a born leader. But he might be oblivious to things, you know, maybe, you know, he just makes he can make an informed decision, but maybe the greater consequences of that are something that he just never considered. That could play into how he lost his finger. Nadpoo, so he's Jack Sparrow? Huh. You know what? That is not a bad comparison, Nadpoo. I think that would be a good one. Right? So he planned that bank heist where he stole the entire vault. He just didn't account for all of the circumstantial stuff going on around him. And yeah, Jericho, and so what this would mean, right, if he's oblivious to the crew's feelings, then that's why he has to rely on his first mate. Because his first mate is more in tune. Very intelligent, charismatic, but lacked... Yeah, I agree, Nadpoo. Alright, in one sentence, describe something that your NPC can do that is special. If anything, roll on the talents table or use it to spur your own ideas. Let's roll a d20. What can our captain do that stands out? You know, does he play an instrument? Maybe on those long voyages, people hear a haunting melody coming from the captain's quarters. Is he an expert cook? Can he sometimes be found beside our own cook? Cindy. Let's find out. 12. He sings beautifully. That's why things went wrong, because he didn't have the insight to foresee problems, but had the intelligence to adapt. God, I want to play a Jack Sparrow-inspired character now, says Nadpoo. Well, maybe we can give you some inspiration here, right? Now, my friends, he sings beautifully. What does he sing about? Do we even know? Or is something coming to you, like you're really feeling... Does he sing sea shanties? Or do you want to wait and see, well, is he an elf? Does he sing elven love ballads? Is he a dwarf and sings, despite being on the sea? You know, if you have ideas, throw them out, but maybe we should give some details after we figure out a couple other aspects of the captain. Mannerisms. Roll a d20. In one sentence, describe one mannerism that will help players remember the NPC. You feel him being someone who's very sentimental? Alright, sure, and so that would be, I mean, regardless of elf, dwarf, or whatever. Sings beautiful, sentimental songs. Right, so he'll leave it to the other crew to sing, you know, to tell crude limericks, and to sing sea shanties and all the like. But he'll sing sentimental songs. Songs of love. Songs of inspiration. Songs of, and maybe even like heroic songs of days gone past. Deep speech, sea shanties. Alright, so his mannerism is going to be rolled on a d20. 4. Slurs words, lisps, or stutters. Maybe his singing is a way that allows him to concentrate on his speech. Maybe by singing, most, if not all, of his speech impediment falls away. But when he goes to give orders, you know, something happened. It's if he's intelligent, he's always 2 thoughts ahead of himself. And so he stutters there. Or it could just be, you know, if he slurs his words, it doesn't mean he's a drunkard necessarily, but he could have some kind of a deformity or some sort of a developmental disorder, something along those lines. You know, what if he has a cleft lip, and that, that has affected his speech. My monk that I'm playing has a stutter and slur in his speech. It's hard to play. Yeah, you kind of have to keep a note. You know, something about, well, I stutter all T's. And you practice. You know, if you're driving around in the car, you're at home or whatever, you can practice that as well. I can speak from experience. Singing can help a speech impediment. I suffer from a stutter. Jericho, I appreciate you sharing that, and also for helping to back up that thought. And so we could approach this from all different angles. It could be physical. It could be mental in the form of some sort of speech impairment or an impediment, some kind of a learning disability. Doesn't mean he can't be smart. Maybe he just learns. He can't learn by reading. He learns by doing. But he's brilliant because he can adapt. So there's a lot of different ways that we can approach this. And even the fact that he's so smart that he trips over his own words because he wants to say so much, and yet he only has one mouth. But as Jericho said, maybe he sings because it allows him to slow down and concentrate. It allows him to focus his thoughts. Exactly, Jericho. His interaction with others. Describe how the NPC interacts with others using the NPC interaction traits. Let's roll a d12. Perhaps the stuttering comes from a past situation where people died from his overconfidence in the orders he gave. Now he has hesitation that comes in the form of a stutter when giving orders. Nadpoo, that is a very viable reason why he could have such a thing. 10. Ponderous. Okay, I think we're further defining our character, right? Now, ponderous can mean taking your time and being slow moving. You know, oftentimes because you're thinking. And so, Nadpoo, what you said might be confirmed by his ponderous nature. He's very careful. So he might say something because he is smart, but he'll stop himself and go back and say, oh, well, is this the right thing? It was my first reaction, but is the first reaction correct? Etc. and so forth. At least for me, I have 1,000 things to say, and I often get caught up in what I'm trying to say and have to slow down and speak. Jericho, authentic characters come from authentic people. If you can use your own life experience through a character, that character will be more real, more believable, and it'll be an excellent outlet for yourself, especially as you go and discover the world through this character. And so, Jericho, you know, by you saying this, there's no shame in it. There's no one here that's going to make fun of you or say, Jericho, haha, Jericho the stutterer, because you're sharing something personal that at the same time can be empowering, not just to you, but to the others sitting at the table who want to have a character that is authentic, a character with whom they can relate. And especially because your brand is coming from the fact that you have so much you want to say. You're so observant, you want to speak. And yet here, like the captain, you only have one mouth. Jericho says, maybe we don't have to randomize the secret. The order that went wrong, it caused the death of his crew. That could be. We could even... Hey, Funny, welcome. Maybe even the first mate knows the secret, but no one else does. But the first mate, in order to be polite or to help the captain, is the one who is spinning rumors with the rest of the crew about how the captain lost his finger. And the captain very politely accepts that diversion from what happened. Useful knowledge. In a sentence, describe one bit of knowledge the NPC possesses that might be of use to the player characters. Now, this... Look, you're the captain of the ship. This can be obvious. He knows much about sailing. He knows much about the seas. You know, if you want, you can even... if you want, you can even have it be he knows the location of a treasure. Maybe that treasure was his first ship which sunk. Right? We're building it into the character. Well, exactly, Funny Dill. What is the secret? That's what I'm asking you. Hey, throw him out there, Funny. This is our captain we're building. This isn't mine. He doesn't, or she doesn't have to fit into some preconceived, some preconceived mold. This is going to be a grassroots, authentic character we're building. The ideal of our captain. I'm going to roll 3d6. The first is going to be odds or evens for left or right. The second is going to determine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which of the ideals we're going to be working in. Actually, in that case, then why would I need the first one for left or right? I guess I'll roll 2d6. I don't need to make this too complicated. And then the last 6 is going to be for which one on the chart. 1 and 3. Good, and 3 is greater good. The captain is but a hollow shell, no longer alive but not dead. A trade with Sea Hag has made him lost his soul to save his crew. And the finger is the catalyst. The catalyst for what in particular? What would the finger be initiating? Jericho says maybe lost his finger as kind of a punishment by either himself or someone else, as kind of a tax for killing a whole crew with a single order that went bad. Maybe an idea of a flaw is that he is extremely self-conscious, and he is pondering and careful because he's always second-guessing himself due to a lack of self-confidence. Oh, so his soul has his finger, and the hag, the sea hag, now has that as maybe as part of a bargain, right? So, all right, if we work with his ideal of there's a greater good, what if he was a captain, or even he was a first mate, and his captain was doing something very evil? I don't know, delivering a magical plague to the lands of a war-torn area in order to sort of sell to both sides. Or yeah, I mean, yeah, he could have worked on a slave ship. He could have been, there's a lot of things, just even a pirate. But maybe a pirate that had a secret that, if it got into the wrong ears, could completely topple a kingdom and cause a civil war. Therefore, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people could have lost their lives if this secret got out. And so, for the greater good, he scuttled his ship so that no one would know, or no one could receive these weapons of war or these rumors or whatever. And yet he lived. And so he has survivor's guilt. That survivor's guilt could be making him ponderous, or, you know, giving him that stutter. In fact, we could even work in that sea hag that Funny was talking about, right? The ship is going down, and, you know, he was ready to die knowing that he did the right thing, and this sea hag, maybe who had been following along, rescues him. And in exchange for his soul, so maybe he was married, right? Maybe he did have a ring on his ring finger. And so the sea hag took his ring and his ring finger, and his soul was stored in that ring so that he could go to live. Maybe that he felt, maybe he feels survivor's guilt, or he feels shame because he wanted to live despite being ready to die and having done what he thought was the right thing. Well, he's the captain of the ship, Funny, and so I think it's appropriate to make sure we're doing more than he is. He sells cabbages out of a push cart and has a mohawk. And then you're like, oh, so he's Cabbage Guy. Which is fine. NPCs can be Cabbage Guy. But we're making almost akin to a DM PC. If not, I mean, a high-ranking NPC. And in fact, we're going to go through the character generation, and I'm not going to make a full character sheet for him or her, but we're going to add more details than perhaps what we normally would. Thank you, Jericho. It keeps him humble, and you know what? As a DM, if the truth gets out, and look, this happened. Look at the other captains. I referenced Star Trek over the course. Has Picard had a spotless record? Has Riker, as first mate, have a spotless record? Is Starfleet really a pure organization, or have they had slip-ups as well? Have there been regrets? Not only is it a humble character, but you know what? It means that you can set up, if you want to pull on those emotional heartstrings of your players, we have a captain who would willingly give himself for them. And over the course of a campaign, may end up doing just that. Is Worf truly the guard of the ship? Now, what is his bond? Let's roll a d10. We rolled a 9. Out for revenge. Ooh. Bit of an Ahab we have here, my friends. He is out for the greater good, but this man or woman seems to be willing to take revenge, perhaps on the captain under whom he served. That led to the scuttling of the ship, or the sabotage, or the mutiny, or the whatever. Or revenge against the sea hag? That could be. Maybe the sea hag who's collected souls has can use those souls to disguise herself. And so she, like the captain has had his reputation impugned despite him being a good person, because this sea hag has used his identity, and others, but has used his identity to cause mischief, or to do more than just, well, mischief. That may not be a bad idea, Jericho. It could be against the sea hag. Maybe the sea hag found him nearly drowned and decided to enforce this pact magically without his consent. Or maybe maybe our captain learns that he or she, or his or her captain that was in this tragic circumstance is still alive somehow, and might be planning on doing the thing that happened before. Yeah, that beholder is he's definitely out. This is Xanathar, by the way. Xanathar is a rather unique individual. Jericho quoting, "That blasted hag has took my soul and plenty of souls of good men. She cannot be allowed to continue this, and I'm not afraid to die for this." And his flaw or his secret? Let's roll a 12. A d12. We rolled a 12. Foolhardy bravery. He's not wise. He is smart. Oh, hey, Katie Sue. Sorry to look around my cat here to see you here. By the way, thank you for the raid last night. It didn't show a notification, but I appreciate you all coming by and seeing us. Hanging out while making a whole new religion for my home campaign? No, you're fine, Katie. Don't worry about it. You know you're always welcome here, in any capacity. You and your crew are really cool, and I've been very fortunate to have had the opportunity to network with you. And so, by the way, if you all do enjoy D&D, which I imagine you do, I mean, you're here, Katie Sue does broadcast D&D content, so make sure to go check her out. And Katie, you know you're welcome to post a link to your channel. And Katie, if you need any help making that religion, then I mean, hey, you've come to a workshop. We'll be happy to help. So his flaw or his secret: foolhardy bravery, right? High intelligence, high charisma, low wisdom. And so when times get tough, maybe he does. He makes those brave or foolish decisions to push forward. Maybe especially if that string of revenge is plucked. Excellent. So we have some awesome considerations for this character. You're making a sun religion based in a drow subterranean city. Mild lathander tones to it, but it's difficult to feel drows allowing the sun. Well, so Katie, what they would do is they'd probably just treat it like a cult, right? The sun would be kind of like how we might consider like a Cthulhu cult. In fact, I wonder if I can... I have some good inspiration for you here somewhere. I will have to try and find it for you. But I would recommend, yeah, just have the drow treat the sun like a great old one. To us, right? It's distant, it's mysterious, it's probably full of secrets. Yeah, I'll have to find it for you on the break, Katie, if you're going to stick around for a little bit. But I might have something fun for you. Unless it's already in the RP. It might be in RP memes. I'll have to check that out on our Discord. The sun would be someone thinking of a flat earth, says Funny. To be honest, I'm feeling this guy is either a human or a dwarf with a deep grisly voice. Just what comes in mind. Well, we'll randomly roll that here in just a second, Jericho. I imagine a bit of a Jack Sparrow, but clean cut and not a jackhole, says Funny. Or a jackass. Because I find that a captain always has to present himself. I mean, to make a religion is hard in my campaign. Just used real-world mythology. Right now, Katie says, I've got every sun has a moon, and it steams in an ancient religion that was around before the dragons. A human from above came to the below and worked with a drow to defeat the first coming of Tiamat. You got to work out the current religion passed around the premise. Gotcha. Well, Katie, when we come to a break, I'll try and find something here for you for inspiration. There, something came to mind, but I gotta find it first. Alright, now, let's go to our character generator. Some of the details I'm not going to worry about. We're not going to make a complete character. In fact, you want to talk about Lovecraft lore. The moment you give Cthulhu hit points, you've missed the point. Cthulhu, or in this case, the captain, should never have hit points, even if the crew mutinies against her or him. I mean, you can. Don't declare them. But if there's a sense of the unknown, there's a sense of power and of mystery and of depth. So here for Captain, we don't have a name yet. We're going to go through the character generator and do some quick statting, okay? So let's roll a percentile. With an 86, we have a male. Roll a d10. 10 is a reroll. 10 is a reroll. 6. Gnome. We rolled even. Forest gnome. $39.70. Neutral good. We have a neutral good male forest gnome. The level is not going to be relevant for what we're doing here. Or if there's any feats. Who has the background of 10. A sage. Whatever number 3 is for sage, and we'll look that up in just a second. Now, there are other personalities that can come with Sage. I want to stick to the NPC ideal bond and flaw. That said, we could possibly provide two different personalities. Well, not like multiple personality disorder, but personality traits by being a sage. But the other things are going to come from being a captain, which is going to override a lot of that. 3 and 8. Our captain is going to be the class of 10, a sorcerer. And in particular, we rolled odds, a Draconic Bloodline sorcerer. And, I mean, we can randomly generate height and weight. Something that could be relevant, let's find out how old he is. Roll a percentile. 6. Oh, he was almost a child prodigy. That would have been very interesting. Very interesting. Though he is a young adult. Now, what does that mean for gnomes? It means he's between 41 and 120 years old. So let's make an 80-sided die. Okay, so 118 years old. Let's see here. Spicy Larry says, yes, I really was hoping that he'd be a gnome. Well, Spicy, congratulations. Hey, aren't you glad you stopped by? Katie says, I've given large monsters and lore monsters who are unkillable an HP gauge, where after that X amount is gone, the monster will retreat. Katie, yep, that's a way to do it. Funny Dill is saying, Captain Archibald Frederick. That's my idea of a name. Sheesh, this guy sounds scary. A dragon captain? I'd follow that. Lucky he didn't get wild magic. Archibald Frederick, the dragon captain. Archibald Frederick, the dragon sage and captain of insert ship, name of ship here. Archibald, I don't mind Frederick, but is there another name or a name part that any of you out there wanted to throw out there as well? Can we come up with a fusion? If not, I'm fine with Archibald Frederick. Does it have to be a gnomish name? How do we know it's not? So I'm not thinking along those lines. I don't know if he'd want to go by Fingerless Frederick, but that's probably what some people can call him. Frederick, it just works? Sure. Archibald Sagon? Nadpoo, you're saying that the ship's name should be the Whispering Giant? Well, I'll tell you what. We hang on to those ship names. Whispering Giant, Stormsinger, those are fine. We're actually going to be talking about the ship in our next part. Right? Well, let's create the ship in a similar fashion to how we've created the captain. Four Finger Freddy. Captain of the Hag Hunters. Alright, so we need to go to our player's handbook, go to Sorcerer, because if he is a dragon bloodline sorcerer, I need to roll a d10 and find out which of the dragons is giving him his heritage. We rolled an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Red. Red Draconic Bloodline. Funny Dill called it. You all saw it. You were there. And now let's go to Sage. A Sage Sorcerer. Intelligence, charisma. This captain, everyone, come on. This was meant to happen, right? We don't, like, not that we can't tell contrived stories or do a little bit of, a little bit of mental limbo to make things work that might seem weird otherwise. And those can make cool characters. Hello, does this not work naturally very well? We didn't even really know what we're looking for, and yet it happened. And we just opened ourselves up to a couple dice rolls and some conversation with each other. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it? I hope this creative process is really just, ooh, you know, it's helping you out. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I said hi, Fluffy Sheep. I said Four Finger Freddy, but I think I forgot to say hi, Fluffy Sheep. All right, a Sage. We rolled number 3. Ooh. A Discredited Academic. All right, so what if his last captain it might have been a research vessel, and they were researching I don't know, they're researching something, some powerful magic, or they're kind of like the Simic Combine in Ravnica where they're creating these bio experiments, and he couldn't let his captain follow through with this. And so after the ship sank, you know, maybe he tried returning, but, you know, having survived this or whatever, he was thrown out of whatever this institution was. And that set him on his path. Character's looking good so far. I like him. This is a guy I want to sail with. In fact, what if the Sea Hag was the research project? What if this ship held several Sea Hags? And I don't know, they were going to be experimented on in the middle of the sea for safety reasons, or they were going to be delivered to a rival nation to plague their waters or something along those lines. And so the first mate scuttled the ship, maybe not understanding what the cargo was, but knowing that it can't get out. I am morally obligated to not let this happen. Little did he know that he actually released the Sea Hags, and the one in turn gave him the gift of his life back. But in exchange for his soul. And so he cut off his finger with his wedding band, and his soul resides in it. And so, you know, he has revenge. He needs to clean up the mess that he made, despite wanting to do things for the greater good. And so he is filled with knowledge, and he's filled with doubt, and this is a great character, everyone. And this is, I mean, we've colluded, yes, but we're colluding in the face of a completely randomly generated character. An NPC at that. A Kraken, you say? I think I have it at 60, Jericho. It's a biggin. I think I have it at 60. So it's a big mini. It's a nice oxymoron, isn't it? All right, and his personality traits. Now remember, his ideal bond and flaw are as an NPC, but we'll keep his personality as per his background. Personality 3 and 8. All right, number 3. I'm used to helping out those who aren't as smart as I am, and I patiently explain anything and everything to others. He's ponderous, right? And number 8, I'm convinced that people are always trying to steal my secrets. What happened to his finger? What happened in his past? How did he come to be this captain that sings beautiful, sentimental songs? What happened that put such great beauty, or sorrow, or loss, or the hope for a better day in his heart? I don't know if he's necessarily paranoid to a detriment. This is a personality trait, so he just may think that because everyone wants to know more about him. You know, such is the price of fame. And so here we go, Mahardies. We have the makings of an awesome NPC. Someone that our 5 previous officers can work very well under. Or maybe he regrets skipping out on his family to have the sailor's life. See all the directions we can take this in. This is such a liberating and an empowering form of creation. And it's an excellent way, if you feel like you've hit a creative roadblock, go through something like this. Well, he definitely got more than he bargained for. And so here's his blessing and his curse. He's the captain of presumably a very famous ship. A lot of people know him, but they don't know him. They know him as he is now. But maybe he doesn't want people to know who he was before. He probably did a bad thing for very good reasons. And he probably does have a lot of regret. What's he going to do? Is he going to go home to his wife and kids if he has them? What, he's out his wedding band that contains his soul that a sea hag has. You're going to talk about having a salt wife. If you're familiar with that. Yeah, so here's a man who's full of regret and sorrow, and yet he strives constantly to do the right thing. But you know what? No good deed goes unpunished. And so in effect, he's almost a tragic character. Especially, look, he's still out for revenge. He has a thorn in his heart still. Something out there is still making this man who otherwise is not wise per wisdom. He's intelligent, he's charismatic, he's peaceful, he looks out for others. But he has this stain. And he may not look to be, he may not be looking to end his career early, or his career and his mortality early. But it might be a stain that only the cold, pure waters at the bottom of the sea can wash away. And that's something that he has to make peace with. Yeah, that's all compelling what you all are putting out here. In fact, something here, so what I'll do, we'll go on break here soon, but I want to play a song for you that I think could be some really good inspiration, for this. And so I'll play it, we can talk a little bit, and then we'll take a break, come back, and now let's generate a ship similarly to how we generated the captain. And we'll reference Unearthed Arcana for that. I won't forget you on break.